the game is once again not capturing. It's on full screen mode. Was this one of the games where I needed to do the full capture? I think it was, if I'm being honest. Alright, yeah, I think I need to do display capture for this one. Alright, load the running girl. So last time we left off, we hung out with the mute girl and the pink-haired girl who's her interpreter. We met the girl with no arms. We met the blind girl in Hanako. And now the nurse is advising us to exercise more. Despite the fact that I have a heart condition, he's recommending that I exercise more. I'm gonna move my model a bit so it's not in the way of the dialogue. I need to turn the music down. It is loud. The sound of the alarm pulls me out of a fitful slumber and into the unpleasant state of awakeness. I linger under the blankets for a few minutes, gathering energy to rise up while making excuses as for why I haven't already. Honestly, I wouldn't mind staying here all day. School is surprisingly exhausting after a long pause, and the culture shock still has not faded, I think. Still, despite getting an impression that skipping class is easy here, I don't think they are going to let me get away with that easily. And the nurse is bound to keep breathing down my neck with the talk of exercising as well. So eventually I do rise up, swallow the morning medication, and put on my old soccer clothing. Thanks to my condition, I was exempted from taking part in gym classes at Yamuku, so I didn't get issued with a gym uniform. I'd order some to cover such a contingency, but wearing my old soccer clothes is kind of nostalgic. I can't use them for that anymore, so maybe they can get a new life this way. A bit like me. Seems a bit stupid to me, really. But I suppose this way at least I can tell the nurse honestly that I'm doing something about my health. Not that I was ever much of a runner to begin with. Can't hurt to try, I guess. I'm surprised to discover that I'm not the only one present at the track. Not just that, but it's a face I've seen before. The prosthetic leg girl who bowled over me in the hallway yesterday is running the track lithely, like a half-mechanical gazelle. What was her name again? It was a short one, but I can't remember. She seems to be running laps at a somewhat easy lop, her prosthetic legs clacking rhythmically on the hard track surface. I wonder what reason she has for running this early in the morning. Maybe it's just something akin to mine, and the nurse is oppressing the poor girl to jog just like he is oppressing me. I certainly wouldn't be here if it weren't for my health, and his prompting me to do so. And even with things being like they are, it's only because I wanted to get out of the way early. The fact that I would be less likely to encounter someone who would witness my pitiful attempts to get in shape was merely a happy accident. I'd leave, but it seems that my former assailant noticed me on her last lap. She waves at me cheerfully and jogs over. Good morning. Your name is Hisao, right? She grins, seemingly pleased that she remembered my name. You may not remember me. Emmy, I knocked you over in the hall yesterday. How could I forget such a blunt introduction? Emmy has the decency to look vaguely apologetic for a moment before giggling. Yeah, sorry about that again. Well, so long as you don't make a habit of it, I suppose I'll be fine. Great. I'm not sure she realized I was joking. So, the spy consultant the nurse was talking about, is that actually you? That's right. Oh. I was expecting someone from the nursing staff, to be honest. What are you saying? I don't look like I could be a spy? No, this is more like a relief. I was afraid he would have someone watch my every move. Unless you're here to do exactly that. No, I'm here for my own reasons. The nurse just asked me if I had seen a messy-haired transfer student who looks like he's kind of lost around the track. So, why are you down here? Emmy strikes a dramatic pose. Training. For what? Track. Ah, I see. You're on the track team then? Emmy nods enthusiastically. Yep, I'm one of the Benner runners too. And modest about it too. Hey, you should join up. It's good exercise, you know? I think that much activity is probably out of the question for me. Nah, I'm not even sure that I actually like running all that much. Plus, I'm not into organized sports, you know? It's true. I never even really got that much into soccer. I mean, I'd run around with my friends and all, but that was really the only reason I ever played. It wasn't for the glory to be found on the field, that's for sure. Emmy seems to understand my meaning. I see. Not that into the whole organization thing. But now that you're here, I guess we're gonna run together, huh? What? Sure, I guess. Emmy seems pleased. Are you going to warm up? Real men don't warm up. Oh no, you should always warm up. Bad Hisao. She scolds me enthusiastically, but then smiles and leans closer. I hate warming up too. She laughs suddenly. Heck, I don't even have to stretch my legs. As if to confirm her statement, she bounces up and down a couple of times, giving a passing impression of standing on a pair of springs. Her leg blades seem to be quite elastic. Let's go. So we both took off around the track, and I can immediately see that she wasn't lying about being good at running. Emmy moves fluidly, throwing herself into the run with a sort of wild abandon. I find myself concentrating more on running properly. Frankly, I don't remember if there's any particular form for running, but I can't help but feel like I'm doing it wrong somehow. I feel awkward in comparison to Emmy, who never seems to break stride. I don't think I want to do this anymore. I'm really not feeling up to more than a couple of laps today, and slow to walk is pretty quick. I mean, you also have a heart condition. Emmy keeps running and doesn't seem to notice I've stopped until she passes me a second time. She quickly skids to a halt, breathing steadily in contrast to my own somewhat gasping demeanor. Finished already? I hang my head ruefully. Ruefully, I think is what that was. Huh, yeah. I'm not in very good shape right now. Emmy nods and grins at me again. She seems to do a lot of smiling. Well, the important thing is you started, right? Next time, you just have to try and hold out longer, and then longer, and longer, and eventually you'll be great. I'll keep that in mind. But I think right now, I'm gonna get ready for class. Shouldn't you? Emmy shrugs uncertainly. Nah, I've got plenty of time. I noticed that she's not wearing a watch. Are you sure? Another careless shrug. Not really, but I've got to finish my routine. See you later, Hisao. Yeah, see ya. Apart from feeling more tired than before, I don't think I accomplished anything today. I'm so out of shape it's embarrassing. The whole thing might have just been a waste of time. I'll find some other way. I head back to the dorms to wash and change into my uniform, trying to resist the urge to take a really long and hot shower. I'm tired from all the running, so I just want to unwind, but I don't want to break my slowly building routine of getting to school before the morning rush. After taking a long shower anyways, I dry myself off and get out of the stall to put on my clothes. Out of nowhere, a shadow appears within the mist, looming and radiating malice intent. It bursts through the fog. Sup? What are you doing here? What the hell, you scared me? What's your problem? I should be asking you that. I've been looking for you all over the place, man. What do you mean, all over the place? I want to ask if he's been looking for me like that, stark naked, but I hold my tongue back. I finally realize I'm still naked too and quickly hold up my shirt in front of me, but Kenji doesn't seem to notice a thing. I mean, yeah, he is blind. It's not like he's gonna see my cock and balls anyways. His glasses are fogged up, but then, why doesn't he wipe them off? Is his vision so bad it's like he's perpetually seeing through fog? You know, your room and... yeah, that's it. Hey, I mean... I still had to get up, though. Whatever. It's not important. Can I borrow some money? He puts on an innocent face and looks away, trying very hard to look very casual. It doesn't work. He's as transparent as his window pane-sized glasses. Talking naturally like this, wearing nothing feels awkward. Actually, somehow it's even more awkward to be naked in front of someone when they can't see me being naked, to say nothing of the fact that he's naked as well. I try to brush the feeling off, with little success. Money? Sure. Awesome. Wait, why do you need it? Can't you just give it to me because I had the goodwill not to run through your pockets while you were in the shower? I could have, but I exercised restraint. And in the end, isn't it the thought that counts? Come on, be a pal. This makes no sense. If it's the thought that counts, I should withhold payment, since his thoughts were so clearly impure and his intentions are probably even more sinister since he can't tell me what they are. I say as much to him. I'm offended, man, but if that is your game, then fine. I guess I have no choice. I want to order a pizza, and I already have most of the cost of the pizza, but I need your help with the rest. I get some of that pizza too, right? No. Are you serious? Yeah, I would give you some, but you have class. You don't have time to eat pizza. What about you? I'm not going to class. I have to wait for the pizza and pay the guy, and then eat it. It's not easy. You have to obtain the pizza stealthily. If you don't, everyone will see you, and the pizza? And they will even ask for a slice. It's hard world out there. Everyone wants a piece. Then you're left pizzaless in an unforgiving world. It's happening before. Or it's happened before. That's how I know. Every day I plan my vengeance, so that when people who wronged me order a pizza, I will be there, ever vigilant. Kenji strikes a dramatic pose, completely without irony. But yeah, I only need like 400 yen. Please, you're my only hope. I can't go outside and buy my own pizza, it's too far. I try not to go out unless it's absolutely necessary. Let me tell you what happened the last time I went out without carefully planning it out in advance. I was outside. I can't remember what I was doing. Something? Standing? Maybe wondering how I got there. And then out of nowhere, it happens. Like a flash of lightning splitting the sky. Like how you split a sandwich into 2 equal pieces to make more manageable to hold and eat. A bird crapped on my head. It was the second most shocking moment of my life. What was the first? He ignores me and keeps going. I want to grab him and shake him. Is he just trying to keep momentum? I'll go with that, even if it's more likely he didn't hear me. It was like the opening of some kind of anime show. You know how there's always a part where the main dude is fighting his rival, and they fly at each other and clash swords, and there's like big dramatic colored auras and zooms? It was like that, but with poop. Oh. So yeah, I need some money. Please, don't leave me hanging, man. I only need like 1,000 yen. I thought it was 400. Okay. What? I'll pay you back, I swear. You better. That's what it means to borrow stuff. I don't know when I'll be able to pay you back. Yeah, 1 week. Kenji winches and makes a noise like a dying cow. A particularly disturbing fact given that his baton is conducting freely. You're not supposed to be so tight-assed about money between brothers in arms, man. Men have it bad enough as it is. Did you know that male porn stars only make about half of what female porn stars make? That doesn't mean anything unless you're a porn star. So maybe I am a porn star on the side, struggling to make ends meet as I fight the feminist agenda. And you can't even spot me your crumbs? You bastard. Nobody understands. Nobody. Wouldn't feminists be against pornography in the first place? You would think so. Me and Mason were actually talking about this the other night. How, like, some women see, like, doing OnlyFans and, like, porn as a way to, like, stick it to the man. Like, all about self-expression and being yourself as a woman. But then completely not realizing that you're making content for fucking gooner-ass men. So it's kind of funny how that conversation came full circle again. This feminist agenda stuff again? This stuff is important. I can see that you don't give a shit, but this is serious here. Feminists are a dangerous enemy. Make no mistake. You take them lightly, and you'll wake up in the morning with a knife in your back. Bam! Out of nowhere. How do you wake up in the morning if someone stabbed you in your sleep? Women are terrible at stabbing things. I thought you just said don't take them lightly. Well, I mean, don't take them lightly for the big things. Eventually, they're not a threat. But if there was some kind of war, like a big war, with men on one side and the feminist forces on the other, it would be pretty ugly. And that day will come when the feminists come out of their central top secret worldwide feminist headquarters and say, "It's on now, motherfuckers." You're being ridiculous. There's no big worldwide feminist headquarter building. Where would they even hide at? I mean, it'd have to be massive. You couldn't hide that on Earth. Someone would notice a big fortress with only women in it. Who said it was on Earth? I turn away from Kenji and start practicing frowning faces in the mirror so that I can figure out what kind of frown will best express my emotions. He can't see me from the distance anyways. Which unfortunately means that he just keeps on ranting without any regard to sense or sensibility. Yeah, there is a war going on. A war not many know about. But it's a great one that will one day boil over and encompass all of the known world. Then we will have to pick sides. We'll have to make a stand. In fact, it's happening right now. Imagine it, the bloody battlefield. A vicious conflict without end. I almost gave up when I thought this cause was silly. When I grew tired of the bleakness of our fight. When I mistook the time the power went for the feminist raid and I thought the end was near. But then I realized that if I gave up, it would be all over for me. And I was like, whoa. I knew I had to get serious. Because I am the last sane man in an insane world. It's about duty. Must be a pretty crappy movement if it all hinges on a naked guy ranting in a bathroom at another naked guy. So can I have the money? He's blocking the way out. It's getting cold because I'm still naked and want to get to class. So I agree to spot him the money. Awesome, thanks dude. We should go bowling later on. Bowling? Yeah, it's the ultimate sport. There are almost no women bowlers either, making it also the manliest sport. Should I wear my pink bowling shirt with matching shoes, or a pastel green with flower accents? There are bowling clothes? Maybe. Anyway, you'd better pay me back. I can pay you back in stuff, right? I don't have the time to ask him to elaborate on what that means. I don't know, I have to get to class, and you're kind of in the way. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I don't want to hold you up, and I have some stuff to do myself. The time has come. The time for what? I just like saying that. Okay, now the time has really come. For what? I have to use the bathroom. Get out of it. I was just going to. And what does that mean? It's a big bathroom. So, I have to be alone or I can't go. The pressure. Okay, what if someone else comes in? I'll think of something. I give him a practice frown and it looks kind of silly reflected in his glasses. He either doesn't notice or doesn't see anyways, so I get dressed and run back to my room, feeling as though an eternity has passed since I woke up. That is time I will never get back. I'll get him for this somehow. But right now I have to get to class. I'm the first person in class today, although I think I'm a little too early. Then again, sitting alone here for 20 minutes sure beats having to suffer that time with Kenji. The combination of fatigue, frustration, and boredom starts to make me feel very tired. I black out for a second, waking up when my head hits the surface of the desk. Rubbing my forehead, I realize this is as good as reason as any to stay up for now and stop coming to class so early. Eventually, I hear a tapping noise outside the hallway, and Lily's tall figure appears in the doorway. She's not in the class, so she must have some other business. Maybe she's looking for Hanako. Lily stops at the door looking hesitant, as if she was a vampire who can't come in unless invited. I consider doing so because she looks rather lonesome standing there. She steps in on her own accord, though, after straightening her skirt and shirt collar, as if it were importance to look prim when entering our classroom. Excuse me? She calls into the quiet classroom with a probing, delicate voice. I realize the silence might unnerve her because of her blindness, so I break it. Good morning, Lily. Hisao, good morning. I didn't hear you come in. I wonder if she thinks it's suspicious I didn't say anything to her before. It's likely, if I were to tell too big of a lie now, it would sink me. Well, I was already here, just asleep until now. Oh, have you seen Hanako today by any chance? No, she seems to come in only just before the bell rings, or after that. Do you want me to tell her something for you? No, it's fine. It's strange, but I think we're the only two people in the school right now.
I got 2 of my
Okay.
It's getting nighttime.
It's not time yet. I mean, if you want to take them early, you can. Doesn't bother me any. No, it's fine. It's strange, but I think we're the only two people in school right now. I didn't hear anyone else on my way here. I shouldn't have gotten up so early today, I guess. You're chastising yourself for doing something that other people should? Punctuality is a good thing. I think so, anyways. It's a very busy morning today. The festival is coming up soon, and today is the deadline for event registration, budget reports, and any other official paperwork. It could be that everyone is trying to complete the necessary forms at the last minute. Maybe that is why it's so quiet today. Hi. Misha. Misha pops into the room with Shizune, as if on cue, shouting with a loudness that makes Lily visibly flinch. Hi, Hikchan. Hi. Look, it's the class representative. Hello. Lily smiles, probably amused by Misha's or Shizune's use of the word look. Good morning. Of course, you're not the representative of this class, right? Right? I'm not. Lily seems a little more guarded in her answers to Shizune than she was with me the other day. I guess they really don't get along at all. Then I realize that Lily might actually not know Shizune as present, and she's trying to detect whether or not she is, to know who she is talking to. For all she knows, she's talking to Misha, but knowing that she and Shizune are practically inseparable, she might expect Shizune being the one that actually talks. Damn, how complicated. I decide to help Lily out, for my own peace of mind more than anything else. You're here early, Shizune. You were here even earlier than us? Misha pushed off her cheeks angrily. Why is she getting angry? Does she feel emotions on Shizune's behalf too?
Where's my little kid?
I don't know. I haven't seen her, honey. I don't think she's in here.
Okay.
Last time I saw her, she was out in the living room.
I checked the whole entire living room.
Maybe she's sleeping, honey. It is that time. It's not that weird, though, that Shizune didn't like my little comment. It's true, I was here earlier than them, so me saying something like that could definitely be misinterpreted as anything. Especially to Shizune, who doesn't have the benefit of hearing tone to engage intent. Before I can start weighing whether or not I should apologize, Shizune has already moved on. Class rep, it's a good thing you're here. We have to talk. The festival is coming up in 3 days, right? Every other class has already handed in their projected budget reports for their events, even the first years, except you. Wahaha. There is still time to hand it in, isn't there? Today. The deadline is today. You're currently taking your time, aren't you? If I had it my way, I'd have all of the necessary paperwork days ago, but someone had to say the deadline, please extend. Yeah, that was me. Planning something on this scale is not a small task, and a week is too small of a time frame to expect a whole class to work out such a complex issue completely. Do you want to know what's harder than distributing the funds for one class event? Handling the same matter for every class in a school and then some. The one who does that is me. Misha puts her hands on her hips and stands up straight. Wow, she is really getting into the role. Lily doesn't look like she's very amused, though. Hey, Shizune, aren't you being a little too hard on her? There's still a whole day left. Please, Isao, it's alright. Lily seems happy I'm taking her side, but a bit conflicted that I might not think she can take care of herself. If this is about the budget, then I'm disappointed you think I have forgotten about it. I understand how important it is. Then, can I have it, please? Shizune, she might not have it on her at the exact second. It's not here right now. I asked 2 students to take care of it for me. Students from my class. She emphasizes the last sentence much to my surprise. She knows about Shizune and Misha's efforts to rope me into the student council. I guess word must have gotten around, so now she's using me as ammo against Shizune. This just gets better and better. It was your responsibility? A budget report isn't something you should just be delegating away. As class rep, it's your job to be on top of things. This kind of disregard for proper procedure is just really terrible. They completed it, being capable of doing so, but the students have been sick recently, so they could not come to school and give it back to me. If you want, I will apologize on their behalf for getting sick. Okay. Although Misha misses Lily's little jab entirely, Shizune doesn't, and she seems torn between being offended by Lily's daring and jumping for joy at the prospect of a challenge. Lily, don't they live here at the school? That's a 5-minute walk, you know. What could they possibly have that prevents them from taking 5 minutes out of their busy lives to drop something off that will affect the enjoyment of their entire class? Lily opens her mouth to say something, but Shizune closes the gap between them and starts signing furiously, waving her hands around like an orchestra conductor. Misha tries her best to convey the same passion, but can't seem to lose her normal cheerful tone. The result is interesting and somewhat surreal. And what's with that attitude? I said that it's not something you should be delegating away. Are you the class representative, or aren't they? Or aren't you? My bad. Tell me the names of those 2 students. They should have their job if they can't even handle, something this simple. One form isn't the full extent of what I am supposed to take care of. Lily's tone is growing slightly impatient, but she is doing a good job of not letting Shizune see how unsettled she is becoming. She's playing her cards close to her chest. Shizune, on the other hand, wraps her finger cheerfully around the edges of her glasses, knowing Lily can neither hear nor see how excited she is. Of course, you do so much, class rep. It must be so difficult being you. Lily tightens her lips at Misha's words, clearly understanding the intent behind them, even though Misha delivers them without a hint of sarcasm, which they were meant to have. Shizune and Lily don't like each other. That much is clear. But it seems a little much. It seems like Lily has had enough and is ready to push back. I was actually just discussing the budget report before you came by. You must be very talented to have finished all your student council duties so quickly that you can track me down to make sure I don't forget my own. Are you accusing me of slacking off? It seems like you're confusing me with yourself. I don't think so. That would be a very difficult thing for me to do, comparing myself to you. You're right, the difference between us is like heaven and hell. And it's hard not to guess which one might be represent. Oh, which one of you might represent? The air between them ripples with the heat of their anonymity. Enmity. I said that wrong. Well, not really. They can't disguise it anymore, though. Even Misha looks like she's beginning to understand the real nature of this conversation. Hikchan, don't you slack off either. What are you talking about? Aren't you taking part in the festival, Hikchan? You are, aren't you? Then I hope you're going to do a lot more to make sure it goes smoothly than this person. I don't understand why Shizune is suddenly getting mad at me. Hey, come on, cut me and Lily some slack. Don't drag me into this, I've done my part. You know, I really don't like these 2, honestly. Well, let me rephrase. I do like all the characters in this game, but I'm more inclined to be on Lily's side. And also, yeah, I just helped that. I also just helped Rin paint the wall last time. Don't drag me into this. I've done my part. Why am I being dragged into this again? I've done more than enough, I think. If you're angry with Lily, that has nothing to do with me. Now wait just a second. Are you implying the president is more right in scolding me than yourself? Ah, damn, I think I could have worded that better. No, I don't know about that, but, I mean... What are you saying, Hikchan? It's just that I hardly think it's fair you can say that, seeing that I've helped you guys. The mood has changed. This is like a showdown between 2 gunfighters now. Well, it was like this before too, but this time Shizune's focus is on me. And so is Lily, though she keeps quiet. I'm afraid I inadvertently pissed her off. Are you saying I'm wrong? What a dangerous situation. It's too early to argue with you. Yes, I think it's unfair of you to get on my case. Hikchan, you want too much, but you have a point. Okay, you're not lazy, Hikchan. Ha ha ha. Shizune pushes her glasses up with her thumb, almost approvingly. That's good. If you're not useless, you shouldn't let anyone say you are. But the next time I say it, it'll really be because you are disappointing me like Miss Class Rep here, so don't let this go to your head. Lily takes a jab slightly, a venomous vestige frozen on her face. Class rep, Shikchan says don't forget that report, please. I won't. Would that be all? Yep. Then good day to you all. Her voice would cut the air out of the classroom into half. It was more tangible. Lily leaves the room, understandably in a bad mood, but still managing to be as poised and calm as usual. Shizune, you really did go a little too far today. It's true, Shikchan, just a little. If I had been expecting Shizune to grudgingly admit I have a point there as well, I think I was expecting too much. She doesn't respond. Shikchan thinks you should mind your own business. Hikchan, we have a few last-minute things to take care of before class. We might be late, so can you please cover for us? Yeah. Perfect. Thanks, Hikchan. They walk outside, even though there are only 10 minutes left before the bell will ring, signaling the start of class. Hanako doesn't come to the morning class at all, leaving her seat looking completely empty and lonely in the back of the classroom. I have to tell her that Lily was looking for her if I see her later. After the events of this morning, class is pretty boring in comparison. I turn the pages of my textbook lazily. We've been covering the same amount of pages each day, so reading ahead is more or less giving myself a preview of what tomorrow's lesson will be about. The clock at the front of the room sounds unbearably loud. The teacher hasn't said anything in over 7 minutes, instead of opting to cover the board in rows and rows of equations taken directly from the book. The rhythmic clashing of chalk on the blackboard seems to synchronize perfectly with the ticking clock. I started to copy down the equations just to pass the time, not noticing Misha's head poking over my shoulder until she is almost on top of me. What are you doing? I try to strike a balance between being quiet enough to not draw attention to myself, but loud enough to draw hers. What are you doing, Hikchan? Panic shoots through me as Misha starts talking at her normal volume, and I sputter out a hasty reply, keeping my voice down despite the fact that she just blew any hope of being discreet I may have. I'm copying down that stuff. What are you doing? Why so loud? Ah, really? But it's all in the book. That's why no one else is copying it down. I know. Why are you so loud? Why are you so quiet, Hikchan? It's hard to hear you. I look around to see if anyone is noticing our conversation, and it's pretty obvious that everyone has, even the teacher. Shizune smiles coyly, and I start to wonder if Misha is doing this because she told her to. Is it because of what happened between her and Lily earlier? Is this what I get for trying to be reasonable? For trying to take the middle path? Shizune is way too prideful, although by now I should know to expect that kind of behavior from her. Why are you doing this? Huh? Misha is totally oblivious to the awkward stare from the teacher, that the teacher is giving to both of us, while trying to balance her textbook on one finger. For a brief second it looks as if things could get ugly, but the teacher simply looks away, as if it's not worth the trouble. I guess this is a good thing, and I slump back into my seat in relief. The rest of the day passes by uneventfully, and this time I'm able to appreciate that it does. When the bell rings, I'm not in a hurry, so I stay for a while, reviewing what we covered in today's class. I prefer to leave last anyways, so I don't have to deal with the crowding in the hallways. I notice Shizune and Misha have also stayed behind, talking to someone from another class. Shizune signing as fast as her hands make noise like swords cutting through the air. Misha is trying desperately to keep up, but it's clear she can barely even manage to understand her. I put my head down. Whatever they're discussing, it looks like serious business. Probably way over my head. Not just that, but Shizune seems angry, although it could just be her normal severity making it appear so. Shizune sighs to the point where her wrists crack, and Misha struggles to spit it out in word form. Sometimes she trips over herself like she's dealing with tongue twisters, and then on top of that, she has to sign back anything the other girl says. Seems like a rough job. Misha looks tired, like she's about to faint. Luckily for her, their business is soon finished, and the girl sits down on their seats again. I'm so tired. She's hanging her head limply on her desk, looking exhausted. Festival preparations must be tough for you. Indeed, the people in this school seem to be taking the festival very seriously. Whenever I see people idling around before and after classes, they're always talking about their plans for it. It's kind of neat to see everyone being so enthusiastic about it. I'm probably the only one who doesn't have something to do. Shizune starts signing at me and Misha perks up, looking at her hands with slightly unfocused eyes. She signs with harsh, heavy, dramatic strokes. Misha translates her signing into speech for me. She does it so well it's almost like Shizune is actually speaking, transmitting her thoughts directly through Misha. Well, we're in the student council, you know, so we're pretty busy. Sarcasm? Huh? The tone of Shizune's actions makes me think she is speaking with disdain, but Misha interprets it normally, replacing whatever intent may have been there with her own chipper twist on things. It's still disorienting. I don't think I'll ever get used to it. Never mind. How could I forget? With you two trying to get me to join at least twice a day. But Hick-chan, some could say the work is too much. It'd be nice if students were to show a little more support for their leadership, some appreciation to the ones who are working so hard to make it all possible. Maybe, for example, a little help. That's asking too much, is it? Yep, help would be appreciated from students like you. If students would show their dedication and school spirit and offer some help, well, I don't exactly need it. But I wouldn't necessarily refuse it, so it would be nice if someone would. Oh, hello. I look over my shoulder and see Hanako peering timidly into the classroom, most of her body hidden behind the door. Hey, playing delinquent again? Hanako blushes hard at Misha's straightforward jab, even if it was only in jest. Shizune stares at her probingly, causing Hanako to look down and start backing away to the point where only her fingers can be seen wrapped nervously around the edges of the door. Maybe she is showing her dislike of Hanako by association of her dislike of Lily. It appears so, and Hanako probably knows it as well. They seem to have momentarily forgotten about trying to get me to stay for the rest of the day. What is it, Hanako? Has Lily been here? Sorry, Satao. Satao is not here. She, came by this morning, though. Hanako keeps looking uneasily at Shizune, who stares back at her with her usual studying gaze. What is she trying to do? Of course Shizune isn't going to look away, and she is intimidating enough as it is, so I can only imagine how terrified Hanako would be. It is a little funny, though, watching Hanako's reaction to Shizune's normal behavior. This is what happens when two people of a different extremes meet, it seems. Do you know where she is? If she has any sense in her head, she's in the classroom, working on their festival project, but who knows where that woman is loitering at. She might be slacking off somewhere, just like Hick-chan. Damn, what is it with Shizune and her need to point stuff out like this? Hanako nods quickly and retreats with haste. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, we are really working hard to make the festival happen, and driving other people insane along the way. Well, good luck with that. I stand up to leave, making my exit before either of them manages to berate me anymore for slacking off. The halls are somewhat quiet as expected. Everyone must be in club meetings or at the festival preparations, or both. Shizune's words about being a slacker echo in my head. I feel a bit guilty about not contributing, but I seem to lack the resolve to do something concrete about the matter. For the festival, it's too late already unless I count helping Shizune and Misha, which I naturally don't, and clubs. I don't know. Maybe I'm not a club type of person. Halfway through the school building to the dorms, I spot a figure in front of the dorms. It's Rin. It looks like she's working on her mural today, too. I walk over to her, but she doesn't seem to notice me approaching. She's sitting on an upturned box, looking intently at the wall. She is painting with a brush held between her toes. The mural has progressed considerably since yesterday, but is still only about half done, as far as I can tell. More colors have appeared, and the twist human-like figures have spread and increased in number. I have to say, the style is quite eye-catching and very unique. Not that I would be knowledgeable about art by any measurable scale, but it's a very nice-looking nonetheless. I clear my throat to get her attention, but not startle her so that her concentration won't break. Wait. She doesn't even turn to check who it is. I'll wait. "15 minutes later, I decide that her concentration is indeed unbroken, and also that I have waited long enough to warrant poking her gently on the shoulder to remind her of my presence. Rin turns her head mechanically to my direction, ending up staring at my crotch level. Oh, it's Asao. She can tell? I would feel a lot less uncomfortable if she would look at my face. An astute observation. Hard at work, I see. The conversation starts as if it hadn't been here for a quarter of an hour already, but it's not my concern. At least it starts. Looking good. It does. The layers of paint hiding other layers of paint, mixing and shaping the human figures really creates an impressive look, but Rin's looks miffed. You shouldn't comment on work in progress. 7 years of bad luck. Sounds terrible, I guess. I'll take it back then. Still, it looks good. I wonder if I get 14 years of bad luck for thinking that. Rin turns back to look at her painting and pokes it with a big toe. Could you mix some of this color? I am running out of it. She looks down in a half-empty bowl with the remains of the same pinkish paint in it. I didn't really intend to stay and help her with the project, though. I guess I didn't intend to do anything much. I look at Rin. She looks emptily back at me. Just this once. Rin picks up another brush and drenches it in another tone of pale red. There are dozens of similar bowls all around here, around her working area. From the looks of the scene, she could have been sitting here for hours. I wonder if she has. That would mean she'd probably been skipping school, though, which of course I wouldn't put beyond someone like Rin. I pour a little bit of white and red into the bowl, trying to match the color with the one already on the wall. I can't seem to get it right. It's really inconvenient of her to not mix enough in the first place. Getting it to be exactly the same tone will be impossible, but at least I can try to get as close as I can. Speaking of hard work, isn't there a huge workload for you too? It's such a big painting and all. Oh, I'm not old and bitter enough yet to think like that. I guess you aren't. You guessed right. Legs hurt though. They feel like slugs. Slugs made of sea slugs. Because of the position? Yeah, I like doing it in horizontal position more, if you know what I'm talking about. But it can't be helped. Can't ask the wall to lay down. Saying that, she stretches herself a little, bending her legs and back far more than a human should flex. It's astonishing how effortlessly she manages her body. There's a small flinch in her otherwise blank expression. A hint of pain, maybe, as she stretches out her calves. Rin must have stamina and dexterity far beyond a normal person to be able to live like she does, but she's wearing out working on this. Why push yourself so much? Take a break or something at least. Continue tomorrow if it's this bad. This gives her a pause. A long one, too, feeling like a mental yawn. I don't think so, Hisao. I'm not pushing myself. Sure looks like you are. No, it's not about pushing or pulling or anything related to that kind of thing. There is this boy. A boy? Yes. Alright, I need to actually, like, turn this fucking music down. This music is way too loud. I already thought I actually, like, turned all the music volume down, but I guess not. I don't know how it is on stream, but it's, like, it's blowing my fucking eardrums out. Where? At the art club. And? He is blind. Oh, how can you paint if you're blind? No idea. So why is he there? That's the point. He is there. She really should speak more than one word at a time to make this feel like a discussion and less like an interrogation. He can't really do anything that you'd call art, right? But he comes there anyways and paints. Why? I don't know. Why? I don't know. That's why I asked. So? He doesn't paint often, but I think his paintings are very interesting. I'm sure they are. I once tried that, painting with eyes closed. Wasn't too interesting, and cleaning up the floor took ages. Didn't try again. But he is becoming better at sculpturing? Yeah, sculpturing. I was gonna say sculpting. I see. Maybe she was trying to make a point with this. Maybe she forgot she had one. Seems like the art club is full of interesting people. Not really. Pretty blunt statement, and she totally missed the sarcasm. No. Just like I said, they're not that interesting. I usually don't have much interest in people who are not interesting. Maybe you have. Maybe. But that boy is interesting. Maybe I am like that boy, or maybe you are. Maybe everyone is. Doing things you can't do just because you can. That's pretty deep, I think. And tell her that to her. You're a deep one. Nah, I'm really shallow and thoughtless person. People say that to me all the time. Did you know I can only think of 4 things at the same time? No, but now I do. Right now I'm thinking about the second floor girls' toilet, ice cream flavored ice cream, the middle toe, and a haircut. I'm gonna need a haircut. She shakes her head around vigorously, letting her short and messy hair ruffle wildly around. I can see that doing it is something like. I can see that doing it is something she likes to do. We fall silent as Rin threads around absentmindedly, poking some brushes around. The thought about the art club sticks in my head for a while longer. I'm feeling like I'm treading on very unknown territory with art. The way these meetings with Rin goes, it's as though I'm starting a smoke habit or something. A smoking habit or something. I should probably stop talking with her. It's not that I dislike her, despite the confusion her being herself causes. And I don't dislike art either. I've even drawn for fun sometimes. I just don't have a real creative drive or technical skill. So usually, if I were to draw something, I get white paper syndrome and just freeze completely. That, or I manage to draw something disfigured and promptly get frustrated at my inability to put the picture in my head down on paper, then call it quits without even really trying to make an effort. Rin clearly doesn't have this problem, but she frustrates me in another way. Being with her is like looking into a mirror that doesn't reflect anything. It makes one question the sanity of the act. Rin sits down on her box, swaying side to side, apparently comfortable with the uncomfortable silence. She is staring at me again, or maybe over my shoulder. I can't quite figure out where her eyes are focused. I'm thinking of leaving so she can carry on working undistracted and that I can do whatever I'm going to do alone. It's not like I have anything that must be done today. Oh, shoot. Who? Nobody. I just forgot to tell Hanako that Lily was looking for her. Do you know her from my class? Oh, her, the mystery toilet girl. That person is funny. I saw her going into the toilet 5 times during one recess 3 weeks ago. I'm sure it's a world record. It is very mysterious. That's why you call her Mystery Toilet Girl? What other reason could there possibly be? Well, if there is, it's an internal mystery. I didn't follow her in there. Maybe it was the week before that. Could have been. Looking at her makes me hungry. Don't say that. At least not around her. Rin turns to look at me blankly, as if she's not sure why I reapproved her. But she doesn't acknowledge understanding any more than before, so I give up at this point. So what do you want to go eat for dinner, then? No, not yet. Rin has turned her hungry gaze back to the wall, looking slightly more energetic. Or at least slightly less lethargic than she did before. It's as if the wall is an opponent she has to vanquish, something she must overcome before she can indulge in dinner. This is the feeling I get. A weird sense of empathy overcomes me and makes me smile a little myself. For all of her oddity, Rin is pretty cool after all. I'll be going anyway. Have fun. Rin has already grasped a brush and is dipping it into fresh paint, so of course she can't hear me anymore, or doesn't answer anything, even if she does. Damn, this game really, dries my throat out. I'm feeling tired, so I set my alarm clock. I set my alarm clock to wake me as late as I can afford, while still making it to the first class. The nurse's voice is almost nagging in the back of my head about morning jogs. I make a resolve to make up for it by going for a walk after school tomorrow. Amy won't care either way, I bet. I have a feeling that's wrong. Emmy will care. I wake up and take a hot shower. Back in my room, the first thing I see is the familiar row of medication bottles lined up on top of my dresser, and it makes me depressed as usual. It's annoying. I thought I was okay. I thought I had made my peace with this thing, gotten over it. But what I really did, I allowed myself to forget that I have a problem. Being here really reminds me of that reality, and trying to fight against it just hurts. Reflecting on it is only going to do so much. I've done this before for months. It seems like it's time to get over it. If I allow myself to forget that my life is definitely not going to be as long as those of others, I won't get anywhere. My life may be different from others, but it is a life in progress. That is how I'll rationalize it. I downed the usual handful of pills, trying to push the sudden, dreary feeling out of my head. Then I prepare to head out for class early as usual. As I step into the hallway, I notice Kenji coming around the corner, stealthily making his way over to his room with a large bag as he sneaks past me, soundly like a ninja, hiding in plain sight. I call out to him. Hey. He jumps at the sound of my voice. Oh, hey man. I didn't notice you there. I'm really tired. I think it's more like he didn't see me, but that's not the issue. Where have you been this early? Shopping? No, I wasn't shopping. Sometimes I have to visit the math teacher. Yeah, I figured it'd be a good idea to find out when the next exam is, since he tells you in advance if you want. So then, what's in the bag? I thought I'd go shopping while I was outside. I need supplies to continue the fight against the vast feminist conspiracy. Oh, okay. I thought you didn't go outside. I wear a hat now. I decide not to point out that he is not wearing a hat. An awkward silence settles between us, and then Kenji breaks it by pushing his door open slightly, releasing a creaking sound into the air that only makes the movement seem more awkward. He sets the bag down inside his room and then closes the door. I'm surprised you went out of your way to find a test date. Trying to take advantage of an opportunity to study is pretty diligent. I never study. Oh? I just wanted to know when the next test day was. I'm still going to take it, duh. I need to know so I know what day I can't afford to skip class. He usually sends out updates on that crap by phone, so I had to step out and check on it. And why do you have to go out? When can you get it in? When you can get it on your phone? I don't carry a phone. What do you mean you don't carry a phone? You mean you just leave it at home? No, I don't use phones. I don't have a phone. Phones. I have no phone. And why don't you have a phone? How can you not have a phone? No phone at all? No phone? I just don't like phones. Actually, I'm kind of scared of them. I don't know why. I think it's some kind of repressed trauma. But basically, when I hear a phone, I get nervous. It's my darkest secret. I have two theories on it. Either I have some fear of receiving some undefined, anonymous, life-altering doom call, or I was beaten with a phone in the past, beaten so badly I can't remember it. Beaten in the head. Well, where else could I get beaten with a phone? That would make me unable to remember it. The ass? Unexpectedly logical. I feel very depressed now, sensing this conversation is more or less over. Kenji opens his door again and prepares to head inside. Yeah, I'm gonna sleep, dude. Have a good one. Class is gonna start in like 20 minutes. I already did something today. Too tired to go to school. Hey, you need some lip balm? I accidentally bought two because I thought the store had started selling individual AA batteries. Thanks, but no thanks. Whatever, man. He swiftly enters his lair, finally letting me go to class. Whew. I need a drink. I will be right back. My fucking throat is like so dry. I'm back. I got a drink and I got some comfier clothes on. Alright. For a change, I'm not among the first ones to come to morning class. Instead, almost everyone else seems to be here already. I recognize most of my class by their faces by now. Though the names still escape me. The class goes on lazily. I think I'm starting to get into the rhythm of school. I have even stopped worrying about taking notes and being overtly attentive. The first days, I was pretty high-strung in class. Mutao finishes his lecture about electricity early, but continues without a pause about the festival. So, as you know, the festival is on the day after tomorrow. I hope everyone's projects are going to be successful this year. Have a good time, but also come Sunday, please keep the meaning of the festival in your minds. Games and fried food. Everyone burst out in laughter, and so do I. Yes, thank you, Mikido. Oh, I didn't even get to read that. I didn't even press the button. The remainder of a sentence is buried beneath the ring of lunch bells, and everyone starts packing their things. Mitao deliberates for a moment, but since almost nobody seems to pay attention anymore, he gives up and sits down. It's crowded in the hallway, or as crowded as hallways in the school probably get. Most of the students seem to be heading down to the cafeteria. Hisao! I'm gonna make you a one-time only super special lunch offer. Emmy's homemade lunch boxes, and the privilege of enjoying them in private with two bombshell beauties. Her overly flirtatious sales pitch echoes in the hallway, a remarkable feat since it's full of people. Emmy strikes a very confident-looking pose as though as an attempt to one-up her own ridiculousness, puffing out her chest and making the V for a victory sign with her hands. Sounds delicious. To what do I owe this honor of being invited? You stood there looking really lost and sad, so I thought you could use some company. That is probably the most depressing reason imaginable. So how about it? You're probably really lonely and would eat that awful cafeteria food all alone otherwise. I'm kidding. Sure, I'll have your lunch offer, with pleasure. Let's go to the roof. The roof? Why the roof? Because that's where we eat lunch. And if I don't get up there, then she'll probably wander off, and then I just know she'll go hungry because she never packs a lunch for herself. Who will? Come with me. Without answering my question or waiting for a response, she grabs me by the arm and drags me through the hallways. I attempt to make conversation on the way. What do you have in extra lunch? Emmy smiles guiltily. Actually, it's yesterday's lunch. I slipped in a run at lunch and forgot to eat it. Huh. The stairway to the roof is a little dilapidated, but it's clearly been used recently. At the top of the stairs is a door, complete with a missing padlock. I wonder who the inept individual was that removed the lock. Emmy shoves the door open and steps beaming into the sunlight. Suddenly, a tall, dark figure appears out of nowhere, standing imposingly in front of us. Emily flinches back, almost falling down the stairs. Eek! Hello. Strange girl, I can clearly tell that's Rin. Yips, you scared me, Rin. Wait, isn't she... Hello. Noticing that Rin is speaking to me, Emmy looks curiously at me. You two know each other? I looked confusedly at Emmy. She's that friend of yours? Rin has turned her gaze towards the cloud drifting above the school. I didn't know you knew this person, Emmy. The awkward silence lasts only a few seconds until Emmy lets out a tiny giggle, shrugging the confidence off. I invited Hisao for lunch. If you know him, that's just better. Oh, does this mean I don't get food, or did you invite him for lunch without the lunch? Neither. I have food for 3. Nice thinking. They walk to the under end of the roof while I stay at the clock tower for a while, taking in the atmosphere. There is no one else but us here. I guess the roof is not as popular as it is in other schools. A few rundown benches and tables are scattered around the edges, perhaps in an attempt to make the rooftop look less desolate. The small pebbles covering the roof rattle beneath our feet. I peek through the chain-link fence to take a look at the school grounds and beyond. Students are strolling in pairs and groups around the quadrangle quadrant. Wow, what the fuck is that word? Alright, let me look this up real quick. I don't know how to say this. It'd probably help if I spell quad right, but I also can't see anything past my fucking microphone beating here.
Quadrangle.
Quadrangle. There's no fucking way I'm gonna say that. Four-sided plane figure, especially a square or rectangle. Alright, let's pray that's the only time that word shows up. Students are strolling in pairs and groups around the quadrangle and at the cafeteria. A few delivery trucks are driving past the school towards the convenience store nearby. Somewhere a watchdog barks at a passerby. Somehow, when I look towards the town center, the small town feel strikes me very strongly, almost palpably. The hectic lifestyle of the big metropolis seems so far away and foreign here. Nobody has to run to catch a bus, like their life depended on it, or get their senses overloaded by the neon lights and traffic jams. I feel surprisingly optimistic about this new life of mine, looking at my new hometown, even if it's going to be mine for only a short year. Finding out about my illness and having to move away from home all came so suddenly. I haven't had time to think about how I feel about it. When I step out of the shadow of the clock tower to the open, I feel warmth touching my back. The sun shines from a perfectly clear, cerulean sky. A cool breeze sweeping over the rooftops makes me shiver, but only briefly. The wind carries a sense of trees and flowers, not smog and car exhaust like I'm used to, just a few weeks ago. Emmy settles on a bench with Rin in tow and produces one big and two small lunchboxes from her bag. Come on, Isao. What are you waiting for? She is beckoning me to join them, making room on the already small bench. I seat myself on the corner of the bench to take as little space as possible. It's pretty cramped, but somehow all three of us fit on. Impressive view. Emmy suppresses a giggle and places a lunchbox in front of Ren, and hands another lunchbox to me. Here you go, lunch as promised. Homemade, no less, I'm impressed. Wow, this looks really good. Thanks, I make 'em when I can. Conversation dies off as I set about the business of feeding myself. Taking a few bites, I glance up and notice Rin deftly opening the lunchbox and poking a forkful of food into her mouth using only her feet. Even though I've seen it before, I can't help but be impressed at her dexterity. It's also a reminder of the sort of place I am right now. Will I ever get used to sights such as this? I can't decide if getting used to such things would be a good thing or a bad thing either. Does getting used to this place mean that I'm giving up on being a normal person? Or does it just mean that I'm becoming more understanding about those around me? I'm distracted from my thoughts, but the sight of Emmy tearing into her lunch as if it had insulted her ancestors. You seem pretty hungry. Emmy looks up, mouth half full, and swallows before nodding. My morning run always works up an appetite. Which is great, because then I burn through lunch pretty quickly. Helps me keep my girlish figure. What would happen if you lost it? Would you become a man? I nearly choke on my lunch, try not to laugh. It's a figure of speech. Does your figure have to run in the morning too? Do you always talk like this? Talk like what? Like what? I think that answers my question. Never mind. So, I struggle to think of small talk and settle on the obvious question. How'd you two meet? Rin seems content to let Emmy answer the question. Someone in the housing department thought we'd complete each other well, so we were assigned rooms next to one another. Or complement, not complete each other. Yeah, they would complement each other well. The girl with no legs with the girl with no arms. Complement each other. Like shoes in a suit. Huh? Emmy giggles at my confusion. Put us together and we've got all of our limbs, get it? Ah. So I started helping Rin get ready in the morning, and that was that. I mean, you can't help someone get dressed every morning and not get along. I see. Rin chooses this moment to interject. I have trouble with shirts. Right, that seems fairly obvious. Really? Kind of. This isn't helping, but at least Emmy seems to find the whole thing funny. That, combined with the fact that Rin is generously curious, makes me feel slightly better and yet confused. I mean, you've got no arms. So, putting on a shirt seems like one of those things that would be difficult. You know what? I'm just gonna stop talking now. It'll save me a lot of trouble in the long run. Rin nods, in what I suspect is meant to be a sage manner. I see. The conversation dies as I turn my attention back to my lunch. It's really quiet now. Or quite good, not quiet. Although, yeah, it's probably quiet too after that. Emmy finishes her lunch first and makes a contented noise. Ah, that was good. As she busies herself with cleaning up her lunch, Rin speaks up. I'm thirsty. Oh, I almost forgot about that, sorry. With a flourish, she reaches into her bag and removes a trio of juice boxes. She tosses me one that appears to be cranberry juice, one to Rin that appears to be some kind of strawberry milk, complete with the pink color scheme, and keeps an equally pink box of some kind of fruit punch to herself. Rin dexterously stabs the straw through the top of her box and begins to drink. I once again impressed by how flexible she is, but this time I keep my comment to myself. Somehow I don't think either Emmy or Rin are the sorts of people to think twice about the way they work around their particular disabilities. Rin especially so. Indeed, she gives off the impression of being entirely unaware that she's missing any limbs at all. Whether or not that's a conspicuous decision is another matter. I'm honestly not sure. So, Hisao, how do you like it up here? It's quite nice, actually. I like high places with a view. Thanks for inviting me up here. And for lunch, too. Emmy grins with a 1,000-watt grin. Pleased by my response, I suppose. No problem. Feel free to eat with us next time, too, okay? I won't make you lunch, but you can bring your own up here. No lunch service? I don't know. Emmy looks mocked offended. Trying to take advantage of my good nature? The nerve. She giggles. Well, if that's your answer, I guess Rin and I will just keep eating lunch here all alone. I am suddenly assaulted by the most heart-rendering puppy dog eyes I've ever seen as Emmy pouts. Kidding, I was kidding. I'd love to eat lunch up here again. Good location, and the company's okay, too. Emmy frowns a bit at my declaration of okay, but she seems happy enough that I've accepted her invite. Kitty, what are you doing? Get down, Kitty. Get off my desk. And I just watched my cat jump into an empty McDonald's bag. I think she might be stuck now. I guess that makes us friends now. Or at least acquaintances. The lunch bell rings, signaling the return to downstairs. Rin, you didn't finish your lunch again. I wasn't that hungry. If you don't eat more, you're gonna fade away. Rin shrugs as if this is an acceptable risk. Come on, we better get going. The three of us head down the stairs together. The afternoon class passes once again. I find myself without a plan for something to do after school, so I head to the library to return a couple of books I finished reading. Walking inside, I see that there are about as many students here as there were on Tuesday, all the more evident from the almost total silence engulfing the room. As I drop the books I borrowed into the return slots in the counter, Yuko suddenly pops up from behind it, quite startled from the banging they make as they hit the trolley next to her. Oh, sorry, Yuko. Didn't mean to startle you. No, that's fine. It happens a lot. I'm used to it by now. Can I help you? It's okay. I think I know where everything is. Thanks anyways. I suppose I'll grab another book or two while I'm here. There's not much else to do. And after reading so much during my stay in the hospital, it's become a hard habit to break. I wander down to the fiction section towards the back of the library, scanning the bookshelves for anything that catches my eyes. As I do, I look over the corner where Hanako had been the last time I was here, not really expecting anything to come of it. Surprisingly, though, she's there, absorbed completely in a fairly thick book. I decide against intruding on her like last time and get back to finding reading material. After an indiscernible amount of time pursuing the aisles, I finally decide on a couple of books to get and slide them off the shelf. With a minimum of fuss, I quickly walk over to the counter, check out my books, and pop them into the bag as I walk out. By the time I leave the main building, sunset isn't too far away. Small trickle of students remain, but the majority have left, presumably to their homes and dorms. I guess I need to buy some supplies. I can't live off the cafeteria food and eat in for my entire stay here. As I leave for the gates, I make a few loud stretches to try and stave off the tiredness that accumulated over the week. After passing through and rounding the corner, though, I see a solitary figure walking downhill towards the small town below. The color of her hair and the tapping of her cane are unmistakable. I quickly walk up to her, which seems to catch her attention without a word needing to be said. "Hi, Lily." She takes a moment to place the voice, silently adjusting her head to face a bit more towards the source of my voice as she does. "Hisao?" "Yep, that's me." She seems to have a good memory for voices. The fact that she actually remembered is a pleasant surprise. "Good evening. What brings you here?" Once again, she gives a small, polite bow, and once again, I reply in kind before realizing I need to do so. "Just going into town. You?" My, what a coincidence. Doing the same thing, eh?" "I usually go shopping on Fridays." She pauses for a moment, suddenly looking a little lost. "That said, Hanako usually comes into town with me." "Ah, not lost, but worried. The two do seem pretty close, to keep pretty close tabs on one another. It's kind of surprising that Hanako would just forget Lily like that." "I noticed her reading in the library. She probably just got caught up in a book." She lets out a small sigh of relief. "Thank you. She has a habit of doing that." "Avid reader?" "Right. She doesn't like being around crowds of people, so reading away from everyone lets her relax a bit. Although she probably didn't intend it, I can't help but grimace as I recall my first meeting with her." Hardly wanting to bring it up, I remain silent as we quietly continue to walk down the quiet road. Tack, 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 tack. With the road bereft of cars and the students of Yamaku increasingly far behind us, the quiet rustling of the leaves and the measured tapping of Lily's cane against the sidewalk are all that can be heard. It's kind of nice, especially compared to the hustle and bustle of where I used to live. Before I know it, I've relaxed so much that a loud yawn escapes before I can control it. "Tired?" "Yeah, I've been running ragged these past few days." That's an understatement, to be sure. Transferring into a different school would be bad enough, but nothing like this. "Well, hopefully everything settles down for you. The festival's got everyone in a spin right now, and you've been plopped right into the middle of things." For a moment I hesitate, but given her apparent tolerance for frankness, I decided to give my full thoughts. "I guess. Yamaku's kind of different, though. I mean, the formality surrounding everything, the isolation around it, not to mention the most obvious difference. It's kind of a whole different mindset, I suppose. I'll get used to it, though, in time." She gives a matter-of-fact nod, apparently pleased with my answer. It feels almost as if she's included me in the flock of students she's shepherding, along with classes 3-2 and Hanako. Well, not that I mind. It's nice to get the thoughts off my chest in any case. Looking on the bright side, one could see it as a chance for a new beginning. You should cherish the ability to make new friends. That's opportunistic. Nonetheless, it's good to have a positive attitude about such things, I suppose. I guess that's a good take on it. Walking on down the road, she seems to become somewhat unsettled. Before I can ask what's on her mind, she seems to collect herself and speaks up about something else. "So, where in the town were we going?" That's actually a pretty good question. I'd come in to buy food, but the layout of the place is still totally foreign to me. I had intended to just wander around and see what I could find, but the sunset's already approaching and nightfall not too far behind. That doesn't seem very wise. I'm gonna have to ask her for directions, again. "I was just gonna get some food, but now that you mention it, I don't really know the way." "Well now, this is quite lucky. I was just about to go to the convenience store myself." "Looks like I'll be in your care again. Thanks." Together we walk to the store. My pace is carefully slowed to remain beside her. Compared to my usual walking pace, hers is quite a bit slower. Not that it's without reason. Oh man, that looks like the exact stores in the Yakuza series. I don't know why I just compare everything to just Yakuza. Alright, I need to take another drink. My ice water is really cold now. After what couldn't be more than several minutes, I catch sight of our objective. This town is really small. Without further ado, we make our way inside with greetings from the counter. Mind if I tag along with you? Usually Hanuko would help me, but seeing as she's not here... It takes a moment before I realize what she means. Considering she wouldn't be able to read any of the labels, shopping without any help would be a pain for her. That said, I can't shake the feeling that she had this idea since I was coming out here. Sure, it'd be my pleasure. I grab 2 well-used red baskets and a small stack besides the entrance, handing one to Lily. She lays it on the ground, putting her school bag in, retracting her cane, and sliding it through the basket handles before picking it back up with her right hand. Wait, she doesn't use her cane? Before I can complete the thought, she comes beside me and pinches the cuff of my uniform in her slender fingers. Or with her slender fingers. Is this alright? Sure. I have no reason not to accept. I can think of worse things than shopping with a pretty girl holding on to me, even if it is out of necessity. We navigate our way through the store, with not one of the occasional passing customers seeing to bat an eye. Considering how close Yamaku is, I guess seeing students from there must be entirely normal for the local residents. As we reach each aisle, I quickly check with Lily to find out what she needs. I grab it along with what I'm looking for, and put her items in the respective baskets. I guess this is the same routine she and Hanako follow every Friday. Right, all that's left is bread, and then that should be my shopping done. Do you need anything else, Lily? No, this should be everything. Off we go then. With a quick side trip to the bakery section, we make our way to the registers. The line, thankfully, is almost non-existent. It's not long before we paid for our food and are out the door. As Lily retrieves her cane and extends it to its full length, I waste a minute looking upwards at the night sky while holding both of our bags. For a moment, I try to make the clouds with my breath, but the summer heat doesn't seem to cooperate. Eventually, she rights herself, taking a quick stretch before taking her own bag and leaving me to my 2. You tired as well? The festival preparations have been complete chaos. Shizune breathing down my neck doesn't exactly help things either. Hey, she's only trying to get everything organized. Better now than later, right? I suppose. I'm going to enjoy relaxing in town tomorrow, that's for certain. I guess the festival preparations must be taking their toll on both of them. We walk out into the quiet streets, talking between ourselves as we carry our bags of food and supplies from the store. Wait, what's that? I notice a very distinctive figure making its way towards us, silhouetted by the streetlights. For a second, I think it's another male student from my class, but as he, or I should say she, gets closer, I recognize her quickly. Rin, what are you doing out here so late? Rin? Lily perks her head, looking like she's trying to focus on listening more keenly. It suddenly comes to me that I should probably interpret the scene for her. It's Rin Tazuka? Tazuka? I think her last name was, from our school. She stiffens at the name and gives a complicated-looking expression, something like a forced fusion of a compromised smile and a painful cringe. Ah, I understand. I guess Lily knows Rin too. Rin turns to look at us, looking terribly out of it. I'm not entirely sure if she recognizes either of us, or at least she doesn't acknowledge it if she does. She looks like a zombie, or a statue. A statue of a zombie. But slowly, some symptoms of understanding seem to light in her dark eyes. This is something she must react to. Rin blinks once very thoroughly. Hello. There is an awkward pause, everyone waiting for someone else to say something. What are you doing out here this late? I was wondering about that myself too just now. Some people asked that just before. I assumed they were wondering the same. I didn't know. They didn't know either. I asked. That's why I'm wondering. So that was pretty much it. It's a murder mystery without a murder. They were going that way. She turns facing her right in order to demonstrate the direction of the other people went, as if it was important, then rotates back like a mechanical puppet in one of those overly complicated clockworks. For a person who gives an impression of being the quiet type, Rin really does uses a lot of words to say things that don't need a lot of to be said. Unsure if she's finished, I say nothing Neither does Lily, who seems equally robbed of words for the time being. I think that both of us are in fact just scared that any response might provoke her to continue. Our stupefied lack of reaction doesn't faze Rin at all. She keeps looking at us expectantly, a calm hint of expression on her blank face. She seems to be that kind of person, always so relaxed. As if bull elephant-grade sedatives were flowing through her veins in the place of blood. Do you have amnesia? I don't recall you having anything of the sort, though. No, I don't think that's it. The other passerbys were probably just worried, though. You do look really lost, the way you're standing out in the middle of the street. Oh, I see. Maybe I should have taken some other kind of pose in that case. I ponder for a while whether I should chase this angle further, or give up for the sake of my own sanity. I decide on the latter. It seems that most of the time it's better to not read too deeply into what Rin is babbling about. Talking with Rin is like playing chess with a supercomputer who does seemingly completely random moves as if to mock everything you know about chess. It's like that, except with human interaction. And even if I win, it feels like I'm losing. Damn, it's just like Kenji said, even when I win, I lose. Is this the power of the girls of Yamaku? I push the thought aside as too dangerous to consider further. It's probably just Kenji's anti-female propaganda getting to me during a moment of weakness. Yeah, maybe taking another pose might have worked. So anyways, you have no idea what you're doing here? She frowns, looking extremely displeased at either of my questions. Its consequences or the answer she's about to give. I do have some idea. I can't really tell what kind of an idea. That sounds like progress, at least. Lily sounds as if she's spotting an opening for some kind of discernibly normal conversation. I can't say I share her optimism. Yes, there is some, definitely. The rest will come later. I'm sure of it. I always have reasons. The ensuing silence kills Lily's hope all too visibly. That didn't last long. Rin's, as far as I can tell, unbased assurances aside, what should be done? We could just leave her to her own devices, whatever those are, but it's late, and I don't think we'll be getting anything if Rin is found standing here in the middle of the night. Which she probably will, unless she manages to remember what she is doing here in the first place. As for me trying to guess what might have been going on in her mind when she decided to embark on this adventure, the chances seem to be on par with winning the lottery. Several times in a row. Lily is oddly quiet too. I'd appreciate some support from the sidelines here, especially if she's more familiar with Rin than I am. But it can't be helped. It seems her familiarity with Rin is exactly why she's staying subdued. So, I assume you're going somewhere, not coming back to the school? Any idea where? Her eyes widen in shock, and she jolts back in a somewhat artificial way, making it seem like an act rehearsed for situations like this. Are you a mind reader? Is that your disability? How unique. No, what? Why would you think that? You knew what I was doing. It was just an educated guess. We walked the same street in the other direction just before to get to the store. If you were going to school, we would have met you on the way. Oh. She looks a little disappointed. Like Kenji, Rin appears quick to jump to completely irrational conclusions. Maybe it's something in the water here. I make a mental note to stock up on some soft drinks. You know, that is the second time this week that someone asked me if I was a mind reader. Do I really give off that impression? Rin shrugs her shoulders, which is all the answer I get. You know, maybe you should come with us back to the school. Lily interjects as I'm about to further debunk my alleged mind-reading capabilities. She sounds rather concerned, the paper-thin smile on her face barely disguising that. Maybe she came to the same conclusion I did. For everyone's sake, I decided to let the mind-reading topic drop, as it's entirely inane anyways. Yeah, Lily's right. If you can't remember, there's no point staying here. Rin considers this rather simple deduction for a moment, then nods. Okay. We start towards the school again, having wasted way more time than necessary with this episode. Rin walks along the edge of the sidewalk in her arithmetic way. rhythmic way, looking like a mix of sleepwalker and rope dancing, or rope dancer, while Lily keeps one hand on my shoulder, tapping at the ground with her cane. Tap, step, step, tap, tap, step, step, step. Apart from that and a few fragmented beginnings of conversation, it's quiet. Quiet, quite apart from the relaxing one into town at that. So how's the mural going? We are going to get bad luck. Never talk about works in progress. I'm sure it'll be wonderful. Bad luck. Tap, step, tap, step. She doesn't care to talk about it. Lily's politeness feels out of place for the first time. Step, step, step. The hill Yamaku rests on top of is surprisingly steep. Going uphill, we slow the pace, but I feel my pulse rising and breathing getting heavier. Almost there. I can see the gates already. More than that, though, I notice that Lily's hand slightly tightens on my shoulder, interpreting it as a gesture that she wants to ask something. I speak up. Anything wrong, Lily? I resist the urge to say aside from our traveling companion, but only just. For a moment, she seems to debate whether she should even bring it up, but goes for it anyways. Is everything alright? Alright? How do you mean? The fact I can interpret her incredibly vague question puts her off for a second. It's just, you seem unusually tired, I guess. Now that she brings it up, I notice that my breathing is strangely heavy. The uphill walk has really done a job on me. Lily noticed it all too quickly. Sorry, I'm not in very good condition. It's alright, I just need to catch my breath. My condition isn't the best these days. Oh. Is it something that is related to you being transferred here, I mean? She cuts herself off rather abruptly, maybe realizing she was being a bit intrusive. Her instincts are sharp, though, and while I don't like the subject, it's not like I should lie about it. If it's Lily, I don't think I mind. I'm just a little weak for the time being. Hanako said you look fairly healthy, so I naturally thought... Lily doesn't finish her sentence again, letting it trail off with a measure of concern. As she furrows her brow, Lily's uncomfortable expression spurs me to say at least something to ease her feelings. It's surprising she's this flustered, considering her straightforward attitude with her own blindness. She must know that not all share her comfort about such things. No, it's okay. I have a pretty... I guess the best way to put it would be a messed up heart. Arrhythmia. I have a bad heart attack a while ago because of it. I had a bad heart attack a while ago because of it, and spent most of the spring in a hospital. Ended up in Yamaku on the doctor's orders. She silently nods her head in acknowledgement. My answer, though, only seems to make Lily furrow her brow even more. She doesn't seem to quite know how to react, given we don't really know much about each other that well. I can't really fault her for it, given I have the exact same reaction. To my surprise, in a moment's time, her face shows that she comes to some sort of realization. Wait, so the time when Emmy and you collided in the hallway? I grimace slightly. Her ability to connect the dots quite so fast is unexpected. Yeah, I guess I'm a textbook example of why those rules about running in the corridor exist. That was a lot more dry than I intended. Lily visibly shies away from continuing the topic. While I do want to assuage her concerns, I really don't want to dwell on this either. Don't worry about it. I try to offer a reassuring smile, but then I realize the futility of it. Without knowing this, Lily smiles at me reassuringly, but doesn't say anything further. Arriving at the dorms, Rin stops in front of the mural, as if lightning struck her. She had been so quiet for almost the whole walk back that I had all but forgotten she was even here. It's Friday, isn't it? Yes, Friday the 8th of June. This is bad. Bad? Why? I think I'm going to go into the fetal position and throw up. Probably in reverse order. Is something wrong? No, nothing is wrong. It's Friday and nothing is wrong yet. This mural, it's going to need to be finished by Sunday. So everything's alright. Do you have any drugs? Or a time machine? This is not good. Not good. So she's behind her schedule. Recalling Shizune's aspiration at Rin's carefree attitude several days ago, I don't know what to think. She has let herself open for a told you so, unless she can pull off whatever she needs to pull off by Sunday morning. Rin keeps staring at her mural, looking as mortified as she can. Leave me. I'm gonna need to work for a while. I glance at Lily, expecting her to share an incredulous look at me as I roll my eyes, But then I realized she's not one to do that kind of thing. Leave me. We do, of course, not wanting to agitate her even any more than she already is. There is a churning bad feeling in my gut. Rin sure has a knack of making people feel worried about her. She seems like a person who should never be left alone. Maybe we should call someone. She sounded like she was going into shock or something. I'm sure she will be just fine. She's just, how do we say? Lily cocks her head a little, trying to find a polite way of calling Rin crazy without calling her crazy. Unique. Yes, a very unique person. I guess you could say that. She giggles at the noxious methodus, God, I already said I could not say this word last time. It's such a hard word for me to say. Nodding in agreement. Sorry about leaving you stranded as you talk to her. I don't really understand her, so I keep my distance. So my guess was right. Lily offers a slight apologetic smile as if she was sorry that her own shortcomings had prevented her from becoming closer to Rin. I'm not one to blame her at all. Lily lets slip a long breath, probably a disguised yawn. I imagine she's exhausted by all this as I am. I'd better leave now and give those a Hanako. Thank you for the company, Hisao. She smiles very sweetly at me. It feels different than normal, despite the fact that she seems to be smiling so often. I can't put my finger on what the difference is. It's just different. Relaxed, I said, but that's probably just relief getting rid of Rin, maybe. Yeah, good night. Say hi to Hanako for me. I will. Good night. The students roll into class for the Saturday morning session, each and every one of them sporting the tired eyes of people who have worked through the night. With only one day left to prepare, I suppose it's not so surprising. Thankfully, we only have to suffer through classes until lunch break, and then our time is our own. Mattel lurches into class in a tired stagger. I suppose students are dealing with people here that enjoy their late Friday nights. Without saying a word, he scrawls some page and question numbers on the board and slumps down at his desk. It's completely atypical behavior for him, but it appears that no one in class is going to call him out on it. Wordlessly, the students shuffle their textbooks into position and get to work. Not wanting to break the trend, I do the same. Fatigue has made the class antisocial. Not a peep is heard among the ruffling of papers. That can partly be attributed to the 2 empty seats beside me. For some reason, Misha and Asune aren't present. Probably doing council work for the festival. It's very quiet without Misha present. I wonder if she was born as rowdy as she is, or if she is making up for Shizune's lack of voice. Naki, can I speak with you for a moment? I'm so engrossed in thinking about Misha that I don't even notice Matao approaching my desk. Sure, what's this about? It's probably better if we speak outside the classroom. Something about this doesn't sound too good, but I stand up and follow him out into the hallway. Matao stands in the hallway, scratching his head as he works out what he is trying to say. Not knowing what is going on, I wait silently. So, tell me, how are things? Things? I expected Matao to be a little vague, but this is pushing the limits. You know, things. You've had a week to settle in now, so how are things? Fine, I guess. I see. And how is your condition? The pause before condition seemed a little unnecessary. Haven't had any problems so far. A brief shimmer of relief passes through Matao's face. Good, that's good. The school nurse was a little concerned that you might have been pushing yourself a bit too hard. He asked me to keep an eye on you when he couldn't. That makes sense. I'd ask that you don't blow us off so freely. As much as we try to give you the level of education that you would get at a normal school, you have to realize that you have limits. Our goal is to make sure that you know where those limits are and how to maximize your potential within them. Do you follow me? I guess. I don't plan on doing anything stupid. Well, that's a start, I guess. So then, on to my next question. How are you finding your studies? I understand you were laid up for a while. Were you not too far ahead? Are we? Or we're not too far ahead, are we? I don't really think so. I tried to keep up when I was in the hospital, so it hasn't been too hard. Matao taps his chin and raises an eyebrow as he absorbs this information. Is that so? I suppose there are still students out there who realize the importance of learning. I wouldn't go that far. I was only trying to keep myself occupied in my little life support prison. Well, yeah, you gotta keep up with these things, right? That's exactly it. One wrong move in this world and you're left behind, right? Right. Wouldn't want that to happen. No. No, you wouldn't. Every week there's a new scientific discovery. Most of them mean nothing to the layperson, but any one of them could be the key to the next big thing. I'll keep that in mind. It's obvious that Matao's serious talk is over, and he's gone back to his standard, slightly scatterbrained approach to life. I think in hindsight, that I prefer him this way. He's slightly more predictable in his unpredictability. Well then, I think that's all I really had to say. Let's get back inside, shall we? My relief at the suggestion is irremountible. Sure, you're the boss, right? Matao pauses for a moment. I don't think any of my students have ever said that to me before. For an instance, I consider replying to this, but something deeper within me tells me to shut my mouth and get back into the classroom. A few of the students jump at the sound of the door, rapidly trying to pretend that they are working on the question on the board. Some don't even bother, their heads slumped on the desk as they nap. Thankfully, it would appear that Matao does not even notice. He returns to his desk and retrieves the scientific journal from one of the drawers. I guess I got to him there. I guess I got to him there. What the fuck does that mean? The class returns to the near silence that Matao and I were left in before our chat. Mixed feelings of tiredness and anticipation buzz around the room. Everyone here is either waiting for the chance to rest or the chance to get their last-minute preparations underway. The clock on the wall slowly ticks the remaining class time away, until finally the bell cries out, ending the torments. Before you all leave, I expect the answers for these problems by Monday. The class sighs as one, instantly regretting slacking off, but still acutely aware of the more pressing issue at hand. The classroom empties in a blink as everyone rushes to their last-minute festival preparations. I stay behind and try to quickly finish the questions so I don't have to bother with it over the rest of the weekend, with the festival and all tomorrow. God damn, my voice gets... My throat gets, like, so dry so quickly. It's not even like I talk much, like, outside of, like, stream and shit like that. Because, like, for the most part, I am, like, a fairly quiet person. Apart from me, Hanukkah was the only one left, obviously waiting for Lily. It's weird that Lily comes all the way to our classroom to pick her up. I expect that moving around is at least nominally harder for her than it is for Hanukkah. But it's none of my business, and naturally, don't ask about it from Hanukkah. Despite the relative proximity of our seats, neither tries to strike up a conversation about that or anything else, so an oppressive silence falls onto the classroom. Time passes in silence. It's probably just 15 or so, but it feels longer. I turn the pages of my notebook. Hanako turns pages of her novel she's reading. My pencil lead splinters against the paper just when I was about to finish a paragraph. The sounds of my irritated sigh and subsequent fumbling around for a sharpener feel like they're breaking the mood in the classroom. Hanako keeps her eyes firmly away from my direction. Before long, Lily's tall figure appears in the doorway. Hanako? Her name is all it takes to make Hanako jump up from her desk and run to Lily. They talk quietly for a moment, but it isn't long before Lily leaves down the hallway and Hanako idles back to the classroom, taking her seat once again. I watch Hanako out of the corner of my eye out of sheer curiosity at the idea that the two would be separated. For a couple of minutes, she does nothing but sits with her chin in her hand, staring at the desk dejectedly. The boredom evidently becomes too much for her, though, her slender frame reaching into her bag and pulling out a small book. Come to think of it, that isn't the one I saw her reading at the library. She must be quite a fast reader to get through them at this rate. After about 10 minutes of restlessly shuffling in her seat and trying to read, Hanako closes her book and leaves too. As should I, since the assignment is all but finished and there is nothing else to do in the classroom. Not that I have anything to do anywhere else either. The school is a beehive of activity, but no one pays me any heed. I slanter past classrooms filled with students frantically doing this and that, buzzing around like little worker bees. You wouldn't guess the school day is over. It's a bit quieter outside, but not by much. People zip by left and right, hurrying as quickly as they can, busy and energetic. I feel the opposite. The midday sun seems to be draining the spirit out of my body, making me feel limp all over. Warm, soft air flows inside my shirt, feeling like a cushion. I yawn lazily, thinking about what I do. I'll drop off my books at the dorm first, and then something I haven't decided yet. Maybe Kenji's in his room. On the way to the dorms, I spot Emmy coming my way, running despite not having those weird running prosthetics on. I wave at her as she skids to a stop. Yo, Hisao! Spatters of white and green paint adorn her nose and chin respectively, but her smile is wide as it seems it always is. She leans closer to me, amplifying the feeling she is examining me. What you doing? Nothing really. I don't have anything to do for the festival, and everyone else seems to be doing something important. That's perfect. Then you can help me and Rin. With the festival preparations? I'm not so sure if I would be of much help. That's fine. I'm not much help either. Amy grabs my wrist and starts dragging me back inside the school, quite forcefully. Honestly, so far my two favorite characters are probably Hanako. Well, I guess if I'm gonna go in order, I like the way that Hanako looks the most. She's probably the number one character. I'd say number two is probably Emmy, and then number three being Lily. But those are like my top three right now. Even her walking speed is more like jogging, making me stumble over myself simply trying to keep up. The stairs slow Emmy down a little bit. Maybe it's hard to climb with her legs, or maybe she's finally run out of breath. We go all the way back to the third floor, to the seniors' hallway, ending up where I left 5 minutes ago. I could just as well have stayed here waiting for Emmy, had I known. So, is Rin working on that mural still? That's right. She needs all kinds of paints and brushes and stuff, so I went to get it from there. I went to get them from the art room. And you need me to help you with that. Well, Rin told me you had already helped her, so I thought you wouldn't mind. I see. So thanks to Emmy's flaky logic here, I am again collecting stuff from the art classroom for other people. The room is empty apart from ourselves and the lonely specks of dust floating in the air. Emmy skips straight away to the back wall, digging out a tiny crumpled piece of paper from her pocket. While she tries to make sense of the scrawled handwriting, I take a closer look at the materials lying around. Dozens of paint cans and bottles are arranged on the shelves in the most unorganized fashion. Some look like they have been left there for several decades, relics of previous art club generations. Next to the heavy stacks of neatly piled drawing papers are boxes full of different sized brushes and unsorted crayons. The smells of paint, turpentine, and fresh paper float in the stale air, mixing in my nostrils to form an unmistakable scent of art. Emmy studies her notes, comparing them to markings on the various paint cans, and passes them to me as she finds the correct matches. She stretches her neck to look on the topmost shelf, but it's not quite enough. Her eye level stays below the shelf no matter what she does. Emmy gives up and just looks up to the shelf longingly like a child at a toy store, huffing in annoyance. After a moment of building anger, she starts jumping up and down, apparently trying to speed read the labels during the fraction of time she can see them and catch what she can. It's no surprise that she fails miserably and almost manages to bring the entire shelf crashing down. Now I see why me lending a hand here would be useful. Come on, let me do that. You can't jump high enough, and I don't want you to hurt yourself trying. Also, I'm like twice your height. You are not. She turns around, flaring scorn, flushed cheeks and all. Just kidding, just kidding. Anyways, I'll look up there, okay? She glares at me one more time, but can't come up with a retort. With a grudging she turns back to me. So I begin scrounging around the top shelf for paint while below. Emmy crouches to scavenge what she can from the cupboards. I shake my head a little, after double-checking to ensure she can't see me do so. Emmy having a complex about her height was a surprise. I wouldn't have joked about it otherwise. She seems easygoing, but I guess everyone has their weak spots. Only after we have almost all the items collected and spread out on the desk, like a treasure hunter's spoil, do I realize that this wasn't necessarily the height jab that got her riled up. She might not like being told that she can't do something, like jump. But Amy herself seems to have forgotten all about it already. Quick to anger, quick to forgive. Is she that type of person? At least she doesn't seem to have taken anything to heart, as she chatters away happily while we pick up the rest of the items and then make our way back to Rin. I sheepishly carry the bulk of materials as we make our way towards the dormitories. Rin is really stressed about getting her painting done. It's her own fault, though. She should have started earlier. Is she going to make it? No idea. It looks good to me, but with Rin, you never know what's going on. I found her this morning lying in front of the dorm in fetal position. She hadn't slept all night. I can't believe that the night nurses hadn't found her. And now she's painting again like crazy. Yeah, I've noticed that she comes off as kind of unhinged, so to speak. Emmy giggles at that, as well as my most likely too obvious awkwardness. I don't mind it. She's just a little weird sometimes. On that, I can agree with her. Unlike me, Emmy seems to be cool with Rin's whatever it is that feels so off about her. Still, they don't feel close like Misha and Shizune do. With them working as a single entity sometimes, it's hard to say where one ends and the other begins. Even though they're so different, just like Emmy and Rin are. And Rin is the most different of all of them. Different from anyone else I've met. Yeah, I guess she's a very unique person. I return to that word again, as if it encompasses Rin's personality by itself, but really it's just a substitute for a lengthy description of her oddities. Emmy giggles as I gasp about her for a properly descriptive word. She's just weird. You know, earlier, she just spent half an hour sitting on her box, and stared at her toes. She giggles again in a way that makes me think she doesn't know what's funny about it. It just is. All that time. The working area is a mess, but the mural itself has taken over even more of the wall, over the wall since last time. The disfigured human figures have been mostly colored in tones of red, pink, and orange. Weird imaginary. Things populating the spaces between. Or strange imagery. Not imaginary, I'm fucking stupid. It looks nice. I can't think of any word that would describe the nice concisively and comprehensively, so I settle myself on a nondescript nice. But honestly, it seems that the area around the wall becomes untidier at the same rate as the mural progresses. The ground is littered with dozens of paint cans, various art supplies, and empty soda bottles. Rin herself is in the center of this chaos, standing there looking very cozy as if was a natural part of the scene. Her pant legs have been rolled up to her knees, exposing her thin legs which sport a drying spectrum of war paint, similar to those on Emmy's face. Emmy sprints to Rin ahead of me and gleefully jumps in front of her. I'm back. That was fast. Did you run into the corridors again? Hisao helped me. Emmy points vigorously at me. Or victoriously at me. Rin turns around following Emily's finger, and with her eyes, looking at my general direction. She nods absent-mindedly at me. She looks like she hasn't slept since last night. A vacant, glazed stare that's focused slightly off of me, in movements like in a slow-motion movie. Hello, Hisao. Thank you for the help. Don't mention it. I just did. Never mind. Looks like we made progress. Looking good as far as I can tell. But now you get more bad luck. I know, but I'm willing to take the risk. That's a very nice thing to say. For me, of course, not for you. This is why artists are always unlucky. They have to constantly look at their unfinished paintings. So artists can't find romance, their favorite TV shows are cancelled, or they die young because of unspecified diseases. It's a deep and mysterious law of the universe. Unless they are blind. She considered this for a while, looking like she's going to fall asleep. There is a boy. At the art club, you see, blind boy, so he doesn't see. You already told me that. I glance sideways at Emmy, and she glances back in that way. That tells her she's heard this one before, too. Neither of us say anything to Rin, though she continues her monotone... What the fuck is that word? I have never seen this word either.
Soliloquy.
Soliloquy. In an act of speaking one's thoughts aloud, when by oneself, or regardless of any hearers. Oh wow, I do that a lot, just fucking speak to myself. I didn't know there was a word for that, though. Normally they just call me insane. Neither of us can say anything to Rin, though she continues her monotone soliloquy, yeah, whatever the fuck that word was, like an unfunny stand-up comedian. He should become an artist. No bad luck guaranteed. Don't you think that would be a good idea? That only blind people should become artists? No, not as such. You might have a point. Abandoning this train of thought, she turns again to consider her work and starts humming a tune that I think I recognize, but can't remember the name of. Emmy arranges the supplies we brought and moves a few paint cans around, trying to bring some organization to the scene. Emmy, I need the Prussian blue paint. Which one's Prussian blue? She is staring helplessly at 7 or 8 cans, each of them a different tone of blue. It's the one with Prussian blue paint on it. Geez, Rin, you're not helping at all. I look around as well. Even though I don't know what Prussian blue looks like, either, I wonder what blue has to do with Prussia. Or what Prussia even is. The name sounds vaguely familiar, but I can't place it. While none of the blues look more Prussian than the others, the small print on the labels is legible enough to determine that none say anything about the contents being Prussian. There is no Prussian blue here. Emmy heaves a sigh. I guess I have to go back and get some. I promised to help our class project, though, so I'll be back later. Can you manage without me for a few hours? Rin nods, and so Emmy leaves. I stay because I like watching Rin paint, and because I have nothing better to do. I sit on a box and pick up today's book from my bag. It's a story about 3 guys drinking beer for 2 weeks straight and doing little else. Rin moves from the spot that was in need of blue and starts slowly working on another. Her foot works the brush steadily against the plastered wall, layers of paint on top of the layers of paint. The mural slowly gains more form. I turn the pages at a leisurely pace. In this chapter, they are drinking beer at the protagonist's friend's house. In the previous ones, it was the protagonist's own apartment. It's not a page-turner kind of book, a slice of someone's imaginary life that makes me wonder why it had to been written. Why indeed, the reason for doing something creative, it's something incomprehensible. Like why Rin does painting. It feels like she and Emmy are the same, going squarely against their fates as if it's just out of spite. Rin even said something like, do something you can't just because you can. Is that what she meant? Is that her reason? It might be Emmy's. She comes off as quite a headstrong person. Rin doesn't give that kind of air. Thinking about it, she doesn't give off any kind of air, or maybe just a different kind every time I talk to her. Why does she say what she said? Why does she, or anyone at all, paint, or draw, or sculpt, or whatever? I've never had much of a creative impulse, so I don't think I can really understand it. It makes me feel hollow inside. What a grim thought. I can't really decide whether it's true or not either. I am content being this way. Or am I content being this way? I can't deny I'm feeling a little bit envious of Rin, but I can't really consider it a flaw in any kind. I am myself and she is herself. Still, I need to do something. Something that could make me feel a little less lost about myself, instead of just drowning myself in these books as I did in the hospital. I can't help but feel disoriented. The new school, lifestyle, and people around me contribute heavily to the sensation. I try my best to fit the existing social circles, and most of the people I've met have been really nice. It still feels like I'm an outsider, though, like I don't belong. I shake the feeling off, realizing that I'm spacing out. I have neither turned a page of the book nor done anything for Rin. She is trying to pour some paint from a big can using only her feet, having not bothered to ask me. Or maybe she did and I just didn't hear it. Either way, it looks very unstable. I quickly jump to help her, as it looks like she's about to spill the entire contents of the can all over the pavement. I take the can from her feet and pour some into the bowl. She doesn't say anything, and neither do I. I catch a glimpse of her eyes looking silently at me from under her unkempt bangs. It's an unreadable expression, a perfect poker face mixed with a hint of something like a mild surprise. I wonder what she is thinking. Maybe she is just wondering about what I'm thinking. Maybe nothing. A penny for your thoughts? Do you have any pennies with you? I don't think I do. Then I don't think I will tell. I'm not thinking anything either, so you're in luck. Except now I just did. She frowns, looking very unsatisfied. It's hard to not think about anything, but it's important. I'm about to ask why it's important when some old guy walks up to us looking like he has some business with Rin. Oh my god, this man looks like a pedophile. Alright, hold on. I need a drink. Good afternoon. How's it going? I can make it. Rin doesn't take her eyes off the wall and responds so naturally that I can only assume they know each other. I haven't seen the man before, so I naturally wonder who he might be. Maybe a teacher. His hair has faded to a silvery gray, so much so that it looks artificially dyed. I hope that's not the case. Small round glasses hang on the bridge of his nose, but it appears he's constantly looking over the lenses rather than through them. He's studying the mural intensely over said glasses. Good, good. What bold composition you have here. He moves to inspect the mural closer, talking to himself about it in a way that makes it obvious he wants to hear it. He wants us to hear it too. Very good indeed. I don't really know what to make of it, but Rin doesn't seem to care much. She's looking around her workspace, the various bowls of different tones scattered all over. Hesao. Huh? A little more of this. Give me a second. I pour a 50-50 mix of the two paints into the bowl to create more of the same pale pink tone Rin was using to fill up the shapes of the man's face. Rin watches me do so, which makes me feel nervous somehow. Her face is so unassuming that it feels like she's just waiting for me to do something wrong. The man turns to reckon me as well, looking surprised as if he's noticed my presence only just now. Maybe he did. Why, hello there. Who might you be? I'm a transfer student to Class 3-3. Hesao Naki. Nice to meet you. Muto's class, eh? Well, I won't hold that against you. He laughs very loudly, obnoxiously loudly. A few small birds take flight from a nearby tree. I'm Shinichi, the art teacher. Shinichi Nomoya. So this is the art teacher, in retrospect. Should have guessed that much. He even looks like one, as far as first impressions go. How did you come to end up assisting our protege? I wish I knew. I was just kind of stuck with her, I think. I'm interested in the art club. I'm interested in the art club. I guess I'm a little interested in the art club. I blurted out. Partially advertently. What do you mean? Nothing specific. I wonder if I could come by sometime, even if it's just to observe or something. I've been thinking that I should join some club or something, so... It's in no way a premeditated move, but a vague sense of determination has really been building inside me for the past week. I want to do something. I want to belong somewheres. It might as well be the art club, my shortcomings notwithstanding. The teacher seems pleased. Oh, you want to join? Well, we always welcome new people, of course. Club meetings are normal enough. We study various aspects of fine arts and they try our hands at them as well. Our feet. He gives an embarrassed cough, but Rin doesn't seem to mind. I take a small amount of comfort from that fact, that I'm not the only one with vocabulary differences in this school. Nomoya rebounds from his facts pass by theatrically checking the time for his huge, gleaming pocket watch, and slaps his forehead even more theatrically. I really must take my leave now, but if you have any questions, I'm sure Tazuka can clarify. Somehow mentioning clarify and Rin in the same sentence doesn't feel right. However, I don't say as much to the teacher since he seems to be in a hurry. I gotta move my leg. My leg is falling asleep. And I got the kitty cat on my lap. Little kitten fell asleep on me. Here, why don't you move a little bit further up, little guy? My little buddy. Tezuka, I'm pleased to see that this little project is going well. I just stopped by to remind you not to run off by yourself tomorrow. I've invited certain people to the festival for you, and I'm sure they'd like to meet you as well. I hope I'll see you on Monday then, Naki. It's probably Nakai, but I don't know. Naki just seems easier to say. The teacher leaves and we are left by ourselves again. Rin is still painting as if nothing notable happened, since nothing in fact did. I am left wondering what on earth is wrong with me. Art and I haven't worked well together in the past, at least judging from the grades I used to have in middle school. Maybe a club will be different than an obligatory class. Who knows? I try to come up with something meaningful to ask about it, but to no avail. I'll just go to club meetings and see how it goes. So he invited some people tomorrow just to check out your painting? He has a lot of art people friends. They like to talk about art. I think he wants me to talk about art with them. Somehow, I get the feeling that you aren't too thrilled about it. Rin shrugs committedly, but it still gives an impression of her general displeasure at the idea of having to discuss her paintings or any painting with other people. I don't really like talking about art. It is already a way to talk without talking, so why bother talking about it? I can understand that. It's like being bored and talking about being bored because you're bored. I'm not following you. Have you ever talked about being bored? It's pointless and not very exciting. All you can really say about it is, I'm so bored. I once spent a week trying to think of something meaningful to say about boredness. It was the most boring week I've ever had. But that's pretty fitting, don't you think? Rin gives me a look. A lonic kind that looks like it doesn't mean anything, but it does. Anyway, I don't know. I guess I just rarely come up with anything good to say about it, art. I mean, like this one you're doing now. I have no idea what to think about it, except that it looks nice. What is this painting about? It's not about anything at all. That's what I'd like to say, so I did. But that was a small lie. I said it anyways because I would kind of like it to be true. Teacher wanted me to do this, but I didn't have any ideas. I tried to have some, but nothing happened. So now this painting's without an idea. But what are you painting then? No idea. Come to think of it, I think I'll call this no idea. Ah, now I started thinking again. This is bad. She shakes her head vigorously for a while, trying to shake thinking out of her head. That amber red hair flies around wildly. This is why I had Emmy help me. She makes it easy to not think about anything. You know, how she just talks and talks about nothing for hours. It's like her head is made of bubblegum foam bath jelly. You're kind of the same, but not really. It's very helpful if you stay here. I'm not sure if that was a compliment or not. It's probably neither, with Rin being the overly neutral person she is. So is there anything specific you'd like me to do to make you not think? Just be. So without knowing what I should do, I just sit on an empty box to watch her continue with the painting, idly leafing the pages of the beer-drinking book. Rin has a serene expression on her face, her dark green eyes hiding what she might think behind them. No, wait. She's supposedly not thinking anything, right? She quietly hums to a tune, interrupting every now and then with polite requests for more paint and another kind of brush. Her concentration is admirable, even though she seems to be sleep-deprived and under pressure to finish the job. Inch by inch, the painting gains more form, details being added on the top of details, colors entwining with each other, filling the empty spaces growing on top of each other. I find myself thinking about inspiration and motivation to create art again. Where does one get ideas? They don't come out of nowhere, and I don't think there are muses that magically inject some inspiration into your head. Ideas have an origin and a purpose. The more I think about it, the more I'm convinced that Rin is lying about her mural, or at least twisting the truth. Maybe she doesn't even realize it herself. You can't do anything creative without having an idea of what you are doing, or what you are going to create. That would go against the definition. Every stroke must be decided to be drawn, even if it's made at random. Then that, too, is a conscious decision. So her painting, even this one, must be based on some deliberate goal or idea of what to paint. If Rin's idea is to have no idea, as she said, does that count as having an idea? A logical paradox. That seems to be Rin's modus operandi for most normal interactions, so it wouldn't surprise me if she hadn't even noticed this herself. I wonder if I should bring this up, but I'm not sure if I want to engage in an argument about logic with this girl. One of us would probably end up short-circuiting fairly quickly, so I discard the thought. Marina's squirming and shuffling restlessly. Even her usual blank vestige breaks occasionally into pretty difficult-looking expressions, the kind that one doesn't just come up with accidentally. Everything alright? Yes. No. My back started hurting again. This painting is too big, after all. It's hard to paint in this position. Want to take a break? After I finish this part. Of course she doesn't take a break, and I don't bring it up again because that would be completely and utterly pointless. Rin continues her work, and I stay with her. I like to watch her paint, and I'm going to be a member of the same club she's in now. When she declares the mural to be finished, it's already so dark that I have no idea how she can tell. There is no celebration, no general sense of a job well done, just a tired and laconic, I'm done. And then we both go to sleep. Alright, that's probably going to be the end of it though, because my throat is getting super dry. As I mentioned it before, these like reading streams are probably going to be like a lot shorter than like maybe the Persona streams. But that's because these ones are going to take a lot more out of me. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys for joining. Hope you enjoyed the stream, and if you do, feel free to do that normal Twitch shit of leaving a follow. YouTube viewers, feel free to do the same thing as well. I appreciate all you guys. And we will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow is main game 1, so we'll be playing Persona 4 tomorrow. So yeah, have a good night everyone, and I will see you then.